All right, everyone, welcome back. We're on episode 11 of Ready, Set, Shag. Today, it's been a couple weeks since I've gotten to do an episode. Life has been busy, and I think people understand. But we got to take breaks when we need to and take care of family life and all that good stuff. So took a few weeks off, but we're back today. My guest is working on keeping the camera steady, so we'll give him a minute to figure that out. But I hope we've been doing well. If you haven't caught my previous streams, the midweek hump has been going strong every Wednesday. Last night we talked with Jessica Reloaded. Check that out, and we have some really great guests coming up, and been very fortunate to be able to connect and talk with a lot of great people. But over the past couple of weeks, I've been connecting with myself a little bit more. I don't know, on a very, very deep level, and been reading a little bit more. Been writing a lot, and I don't know. It's been a spiritual journey, if you will. But let's say hello to our guest today. Today we have from the Hotep Nation, Papa Hotep in the house. What's going on, man?
What's good? What's good, brother Shags?
Not much.
Sorry
man.
about my view. I'm on the phone.
No, you're good, man. I'm just glad we're able to connect, and I like having all mixes of people on this show. And really, what'll be interesting about this show compared to some is that I don't really know much about you, so we're like everyone's going to be sort of getting to know one another in real time, and I like with the audience members who are listening either live or it recorded, but you guys are along for the journey because I've had the pleasure of talking with Hotep Jesus a couple of years ago. He was on my old show. And it was at a time too where I thought like I have no business talking to this man because he had just done I think he'd done Joe Rogan for the first time. He had been on Timcast, and then I just reached out out of nowhere and I was like, hey, would you like to sit down? And he totally accepted. And it was one of the best conversations I've ever had. And the first time I was introduced to the Hoteps in general. But for those who don't know you, give us a little background on you and what you do.
Yeah, I came on the scene probably like in 2020. I haven't met any of the Hoteps in person, but I have been in their communities, in their chats and stuff like that. And I don't know, just out the blue when the COVID and all that stuff hit, it just for something rang off in my head, and I was like, I can't stay asleep anymore. I got to do something. Right. And then that's when I came across Canon Hotep. And I came across a guy named Hotep with it. I don't know if you know about him. He was doing like the TikTok videos and Instagram videos. And I was like, you know what? This Hotep thing, I might ought to get on it, And even when I was a kid, like, Hotep used to be a derogatory statement in the Black community.
Okay.
And so they used to call me Hotep when I was young because I used to be like, oh, you need to filter your water. They poison in the water and stuff like that. And don't worry, I'll keep it PG-13. I know we're on YouTube.
We are partially on Rumble too, but yeah, because we're on YouTube. We gotta be
facts. So I used to be like, oh, they messing with the water. They trying to turn us to, misgenders, or they trying, saying that. And I knew about this because this was in their white papers. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the powers that be, they tell you what they're going to do to you. It's almost like they ask permission by writing these white papers. And so you read it and you're like, oh, I saw this in Mission Impossible, or I saw this in the Manchurian Candidate. And so people say, oh, man, you're conspiracy theorists. And this is why they do that, because they have a plan and they want you to go along with the plan. And if you don't say anything about the plan, then they could continue to go on and on and on. Yeah. So I just said, at the end of the day, I was like, I need to get with these Hoteps and I need to change my name. Because when I first got on Twitter, my name was Drexel Hayes at the time.
Okay.
And I changed it because I was like, I was getting in fights and stuff on Twitter. And I was like, you know what? And I totally deleted the whole account.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? I need to change it because I'm not acting like a Hotep, because Hotep means peace. So I need to bring peace amongst, the people. So I just totally deleted that account and I started following the Hoteps, and here we are right now today.
That's cool. So are you doing do you do videos on YouTube as well? Like or like so what I guess what has your journey been as far as like creating your own content? So you follow the Hoteps. What are you doing on
Yes.
your side of things?
Well, every time I watch Hotep's Been Told You, if you don't watch that show, I don't know what that's like the best podcast in the land.
It's
And I
funny.
mean, everybody should watch it. It's funny, it's informative, and those brothers are very intelligent, very smart, and they care about the community.
Yeah.
So, and the Hotep community, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, Hoteps are pro-black." No, we like white people too. We
Yeah.
like all people. Anybody that's fighting for freedom, you could call yourself a Hotep, but you
Yeah.
got to go by the Hotep ways. Of course, Adam 22 wouldn't be considered a Hotep because we don't share our wives with your
Right.
Hotep. We're not simps.
That's
But
that
it's go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, no, I was gonna say that that whole thing is wild. But yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's wild. Yeah. So eventually I started saying, you know what? Let me start making videos like these brothers.
mhm,
So I started making videos like Ken and Hotep. I started making videos. Of course, I don't got, as you see, we tried to, at the beginning, we tried to get
yeah,
the live stream going. I'm not ready yet on it. I got to get my computer to do right. But once I get that right, I'm going to start doing live streams. But normally I just, I just shoot videos. I talk about what's happening in the world
mhm.
and put them out there. And I got a following. Basically, my following came off of an app called Cloud Hub. You ever heard of that?
No, no. What's that?
Yeah, Cloud Hub is where my following came from. I was on Cloud Hub originally, then I went to Rumble, and when I got on YouTube, and I'm like I said, I'm gonna keep it PG.
Yep.
I got on YouTube. They didn't like what I was saying on the terms of service, and they totally just eliminated my channel.
Damn. Well,
Yeah.
like what kind of I mean, what's the best way you can describe what you were talking about? Was it stuff surrounding like COVID and all that? Is that what you were
Well, I got a strike for the COVID, and I was basically just talking about my experience with COVID. As you can tell, I'm overweight, right? So
Yep.
COVID is a fat people killer.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna announce that now.
Right.
Everybody, if you're fat, look out for COVID. Now, I'm not saying go get a shot or anything like that. No, but I'm just saying take your vitamin D, take your vitamin C, and all that. But anyway, so I was talking about my experience on with COVID, and the powers that be at YouTube, they didn't like it, and that was my first strike.
Mhm.
But brother Shags, after that, I didn't have any more strikes. And
Right.
I just talk about what's going on. I didn't like the book Gender Queer. I didn't like the Drag Queen Story Hour. And I started talking about it, and I made like a long form video about it.
Mhm.
And my language wasn't that great. And
Yeah.
I didn't say the F word. Lord have mercy. No, I wouldn't say the F word, but let's just put it like this. They said I was hateful. So, and then after that, I did my last video on YouTube was about the Dalai Lama. Do you remember where he asked a little boy to suck his tongue?
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
There you go. Got me, Shags.
Yeah.
That's what got me. And I didn't even check this out. I didn't even say nothing. I
Yeah.
just showed a clip from Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore's on YouTube. Why do you want to get rid of Papa Hotep? Jimmy Dore's on there.
Right.
What the fuck? So
Yeah.
I let Jimmy Dore say what I wanted to say, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, no, no, no. And I didn't have any strike. I had a warning. That was it.
Mhm.
And my wife was like, baby, your channel's gone. I was like, nah, you're bullshit. You're bullshit. And I got on the YouTube studio. It was gone, Shags.
Wow.
Just poof.
See, it's funny. I've always in all the stuff that I've ever done on YouTube, like I haven't gotten any strikes yet. I think I'm pretty mild.
Knock on wood.
Right.
Knock
Yeah.
on
Knock on wood. Exactly.
wood.
I am pretty mild compared to most people, but I've delved into subjects that were, deemed, not necessarily hateful, but they were very touchy as far as the YouTube terms of service went. But usually, what happens is
Absolutely.
I'll get limited monetization on things based on like titles that I might have.
Right.
But I make YouTube do the work, like because you can have them manually review each thing, and anytime it's
Absolutely.
limited, I'm like, you're gonna watch this thing, and you're gonna tell me that. I mean, and every time they tell me it's been fine. It's okay
Right.
for monetization. So I don't know. I think it sucks. I'm sorry that you had your channel deleted because that's shitty. I think people should be able to speak their mind.
Right. Absolutely.
and I don't think these big tech companies have any business dictating what we can and can't talk about, short of like, an act of violence on someone else, as
Absolutely.
but they're beholden to their advertisers who pay them lots of money. And when people start pulling out, I understand the motivation to want to silence people, but I'm not for it at all. Like, again, we should be able to talk to one another. We should be able to present ideas, and people should be smart enough to, to go through that and vet that information to be right or wrong. That's where I'm at.
Absolutely. And shout out to brother Eric of Valhalla. Eric Valhalla, he put me on to you.
Yeah.
I used to watch it. I've been following him for a while. Yep. And he has a Rumble channel. He does a lot of live streaming.
Yep.
But he hit me in the DM. He was like, "You gotta meet this guy named Shagsworth." And then when I saw the link, bro, I was watching your content like for 2 weeks straight. I was like, "Oh my God, this guy's good." Well, I never heard of this guy.
Yeah.
And then Flaw TV, I found out about Flaw TV through you.
Yep.
And then Flaw TV, how ironic, Flaw TV just did a live stream with my homie Cannon Hotep.
Yep.
That's my guy. Now Cannon Hotep, I talk to him a lot, like through the DMs and stuff like that. He's the only one out of all the Hoteps that I talk to on the phone, but I know that's going to change.
Yeah.
So because we're all fighting this thing, man. We're all in this thing together.
Yeah.
Pretty soon we're all going to be networking.
Yeah, no, for sure. Eric's been a good supporter for a long time, and he's always sort of tried to find ways for me to get in places or connect me with people. So, he's been actually, I think, talking to a few of the Hoteps about, hey, check out Shags and, have a conversation with them. But I saw some of Cannon Hotep stuff, and I would love to talk to him too. I would love to connect with Hotep Jesus again, and Uncle Hotep. Like I've watched their shit for a long time. I don't watch it as much as I used to, because now, back when I was watching them a lot, I wasn't doing a lot of my own content. So now that I'm doing my own stuff, it's hard to like start watching everyone else, and
it's hard. Yeah,
it is.
But you're doing this. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
You're doing the clip art for this and the clip art for that.
Yeah, but I appreciate what everyone is doing, and and it's always like, I don't agree with everything that necessarily the Hoteps say, but I appreciate the hustle that you guys have, and also like just speaking out when you need to is
absolutely
is a thing that more people need to do. And I know it's not for everyone, but I wish more people would voice their concern on things, or sound the alarm on certain things, and the Hoteps are doing a good job at that. So,
and you know why we do this, Shags? Because silence is complicity.
Yeah.
If you don't say nothing and you try to hide under your desk and say, "Oh, I hope they don't bother me," guess what? They're gonna bother you.
Yeah.
You can't run from them.
Yeah.
This is what I try to tell everybody. Like, you're sitting on your ass, and I'm not talking about our audience. I'm not talking about my audience. I'm gonna talk about you. But I'm saying most of these normies are sitting there in the ass, and they're like, "Oh, we got drag queen story hour. Yeah. Oh, we got genderqueer. I saw it in my son's library." Okay, so what are you doing about it then?
Right.
Coming on Twitter and typing it out, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
Because half the damn people you follow and follow you, they ain't even going to see the damn tweet.
Right.
How about you do a video, you share it to Rumble, you share it to Cloud Hub, you share it to all these other platforms, and get your voice out there.
Yeah, and what I will say is, I was going to say I disagree with what you're saying about silence being complicity, and I think I was misunderstanding. Well, this is my thing on it. I don't think every single person out there, like I said, I don't think there's a lot of people who want to say something, but I don't think they have the ability to properly voice their concerns. Now we're seeing a big influx of people, like at the Board of Education meetings and stuff. I think that's really what people need to do when they see this stuff, is like, okay, get involved with your kids' schools.
Absolutely.
And let them know that you're unhappy with this. But I think a lot of people in the world, if they're not saying something, it's not necessarily that they're complicit, but they are unaware that this stuff is happening. Because I think in our sphere, in the Twitter sphere, we are like, everything is front and center, and we see a lot of it.
Absolutely.
And so we're able to talk about it and share it. But, I'm sure if I went to some of my family members, and said, "Hey, did you know that this book might be in your kid's library?" And they would go, "No, I didn't know about that." Oh my God, it is. Like it would totally like change their view on things, you know. But I think
Absolutely.
a lot of people are just, they don't know that these things exist, and we just happen to be at a point where we see everything all the time, which is good and bad. I think. I mean, I think in
Right.
some regards it poisons our mind a bit, but
I can't even watch a movie, Shags.
yeah.
I can't watch a damn movie. Matter of fact, it's so bad. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you were going into a point. But even my kids can't even watch a movie.
Yeah.
We're watching a movie, and two guys start kissing, and they're like, oh, like you just like the whole house groans.
Right.
Go ahead, yeah, finish your point. I'm sorry.
No, it was, you know, one of the people in the chat, Trey, said it's hard to get your point across when you don't want to rock the boat. And that's the other issue too, is some people are incapable of, like, if they rock the boat, they don't know how to deal with the blowback that comes. Because most of the people who are voicing their concerns online, we don't give a shit. We grew up in a time that, like, talking shit to other people is just what you did.
Yeah.
And, oh, you're gonna call me names, big deal, you know.
Yeah.
And you know,
bro, my nose have been broke like 15 times. So
right.
Me and you, we're close in the same age. So
right.
we grew up fighting. This is a whole nother generation we're dealing with.
It's a much different world now, and you know, a lot of people now, they think they can say whatever they want on the internet, and they're right to some extent.
Right.
But because listen, if I could say anything I want to you right now, and what
Absolutely.
are you going to do about it? You know, like
Nothing.
You're going to leave maybe, or you get pissed and like talk shit about me on the internet. Oh, big deal, right? Like
I would stay right here with you. I would probably laugh at it.
Right.
But that's because you and I come from, we're 80s babies.
Right.
We come from that, you probably closer to my age. We come from that time where that's what America was,
Yeah. Which isn't to say that, like, that's how people should, you shouldn't go to people and just talk shit to them for no reason, like, but we grew up in a time, it's to say that we grew up in a time where we had to defend ourselves in person with people. Someone didn't like us, and we didn't talk shit on the internet. You waited for the guy at school, you brought him to the back of the bus, whatever, it's like,
there you go.
That's what happened, and you had to learn to, nut up or shut up. And it's
there you go. And the girl you see in the mall, you used to be like, "Hey, mama, I love you." Like, you do that now, she gonna call the cops. It's sexual harassment,
right?
You can't even look at a girl. You're like, she's calling.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's like so much has changed in the time that when we were like teenagers, 20s, like before. I mean, now you like someone and you just send them a text message. You don't have to look them in the eyes. You wanted to ask someone out, you had to like go look right in their eyes and just get ready to be shut down, or be the happiest person in the room because they said, let's do it.
I've been there. I got shut down in front of. I asked the girl out at the bank. I asked the bank lady out. I told her she was hot in front of everybody.
And she said, "Nah, like, you too broke, cuz."
Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, you're right." She's like, "And I'm married." And I was like, "Oh." But I took it, right? Yeah. And I had the guys, when I walked out, the guys were looking at me like, "Good job, man." But that's the era that's in the early 2000s,
Yep.
We can't do that nowadays.
Yeah. No, it's funny too. Trey in chat says, now it's real consequences when you get Twitter weirdos and they try to get you fired, right? Like, so you can't even, you and I like almost have to be careful about what we say online, because someone doesn't like what we say, they find out where we work, send snapshots of shit we say online, and that's somehow relevant to our employers.
Absolutely.
It's just
the good thing about me is my employer knows I don't give a fuck.
Right.
But
I think it's funny.
They agree a lot with what the shit. I'm sorry, say what?
No, I was gonna say, what's funny is like my employer found my TikTok and was making, and I don't do much on TikTok, but he mentioned like, "Oh, you're gonna make another video, like, yelling about politics." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I don't know really that. He's like, "Yeah, I saw it. It's always asking me to be your friend." I'm like, "Oh shit." So I don't think he cares either, but it's just funny. Like, there's no hiding your online identity sometimes.
No. And I know my bosses, and probably not, because I don't give a fuck, man. I talk the same shit I talk on the thing I talk. I've been talking it my whole life.
Yeah.
And really, because Hotep Jesus is different from me. Hotep Jesus, he doesn't want to red pill people. Right. I kind of want to wake people up. Hotep Jesus is like, well, let me teach you how we got here and how to stop it, which is a good thing. And that's Hotep's. a lot of us don't agree with everything neither. That's why I love Hotep Nation and the Hotep community, because everybody in that community is different.
Yeah.
And Unc might say something I don't like, Cannon might say something I don't like, but we still try to work it out as adults, as men, to try to come to the best solution.
Right.
That's what America used to be, man.
Right.
Well, it wasn't a whole bunch of yes men.
Yeah. And I think that's where I'm at with a lot of the stuff that I deal with past friends. And, you know, because I'm like, I'll mention something that's going on in the world, you know, be it like Pride Month issues or like trans issues or whatever it might be, you know, Trump derangement, whatever.
There's a lot of that shit.
Right. And I'll just say, you don't have to live your life the way I'm living it. But my opinion on these things, like, it might hold some weight and you might learn something from what I'm trying to say. You don't need to agree with me, but hear me out. And that's like, again, and that's where, like, whether it's Hotep Jesus or whether it's Uncle or whatever, like, you guys don't live in the same house, right? Like, you guys live in different places, and your lives are shaped differently. Your goals are a little bit different. But you have an understanding, like, well, what he means well by what he's saying. I don't necessarily agree with that part, but he's coming from a good faith position, which is a lot different than some of the people that I'm used to dealing with. You know, like on the Facebook side of things, like when I post stuff on Facebook, sometimes
it's a whole nother animal on Facebook.
Oh, it really is. It's funny because I'm used to I'm not like TikTok and Twitter. Like, I'm used to that crowd, and then I go over to Facebook. I'm like, damn, this is like a whole other side of liberal I'm not even used to yet. Like,
it's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
But I just post it, and then I get my little community guidelines bullshit. Oh, you said something that somebody was offended by, and I'm like, whatever. Here we go. And I just do what I do, man. I just say, fuck it, you know. Hell, I'm on my second Instagram account.
Oh, wow.
Well, no. I'm sorry. Instagram didn't ban me yet. TikTok. So if I open back up TikTok, it'll be Papa Hotep #2.
Yeah.
They banned me they banned me. Matter of fact, my first video, Shags, they banned me.
Really?
Swear to God, bro.
Wow. That's impressive.
Because I was talking about China.
Right.
I was talking about China and how much they hit. Well, I know we're on YouTube, so I'm going to keep it light.
Yep.
But I brought up a video about there's this one. I don't know if you've ever seen this. There's this one commercial in China, and it's this Chinese girl, right? And she's washing laundry, and this black guy walks in, right?
Oh, I've seen this.
You saw that one, right? She's like, oh my God. And she takes them and throws them in the washing machine and uses this product. And they're like, yo, use this product, right?
Yeah.
Puts the product in there and he comes out Asian. And I'm like, oh God. So basically what I was just saying, yo, they don't like you, black people. Like, they don't like us.
Yeah.
And then TikTok was like, oh, get his black ass out of here.
It's wild, man. And it's wild to see. It really was one of the things that, and this is a little history about me. One of the things that really brought me, I guess, back from the brink, because spending time in a place like Hawaii, where I would live for 10 years, like you tend to adopt some of the local politics, and a lot of people there are pretty liberal, progressive and liberal. Yeah. But what I've found actually recently is that a lot of people are actually conservative there too, which I thought was interesting. But what I started seeing was like conservative black people talking like publicly about different topics, and I thought, wow, this is interesting. I didn't know, because when you're blue pilled by the left, you're led to believe that there's no such thing as a conservative black person. There's no.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right.
Right, and so when I started seeing videos of like what's his name, Colonel Allen West, like through like Turning Point, like he would do like videos, talking at colleges and stuff. I was like, oh my God, like this person
Thomas
exists.
Sowell.
Yeah,
Did you see
Thomas Sowell, like
Yeah.
and you just see, and it really, like, my feed just started becoming all of these videos, and then it like
Mhm.
would get into like women who were like against abortion, and I was like,
Yeah.
what? Like, that's not like, again, that's something I was told didn't exist. It was just a bunch of angry white men that wanted to take advantage of women, or all that stuff. So
Right.
in finding people like yourself, and finding people like Hotep Jesus that were like, no, this isn't how it is. And there's a lot of us out there who, we don't fit into this monolithic idea that,
Mm-mm.
the left has kind of put us in. And I don't know, it was weird. It was like waking up from a really bad dream, like you were not even a bad dream. It felt like I'd been like
So you've
drinking
been
for
lied
20
your whole
years.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been
Yeah.
lied to your whole life and manipulated.
Yeah.
Because black people are very conservative. The macho, they call it the macho communities. The Latino community and the black community, they quote unquote, they call macho. And they're like more macho, like, right? That's
Yeah.
what it used to be back in the days. And they're very conservative. They don't believe into the LGBTQ.
Mhm.
They don't believe in abortion. They're very conservative. They're very, very conservative.
Mhm.
And actually what happened was, if you look at the paradigm, because I don't believe in the left right paradigm anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be a thing, but it's not no more. Because if JFK was running as president right now, he would be a Republican.
Yeah.
If you just if you listen to what he said, he wasn't about, you know what I'm saying? Like, if the roles reversed, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like, because Democrats never was in war. They never were about war. They never were about like into your business. They were all like, they didn't want to be big government. But now these liberals, now they're like, oh, let's go to war. Let's go to Ukraine, and a nuclear war, we can survive that.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are y'all talking about?
Yeah.
And it's like the paradigm shift. And what happened was when and I know we're on YouTube, so I'm gonna keep it very, very copacetic. I know when President Kennedy got killed, I'll just put it like that.
Mhm.
When Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated the president, I feel like LBJ, and no, I ain't talking about LeBron James. I love saying that. But LBJ says I'm gonna have these N-words vote in Democrat for the next 200 years.
Yeah.
And that was the curse. And he did exactly what they said they were going to do. Because what happened was they took the black man out of the home.
Yeah.
They knew that once they take the black man out of the home, there wasn't going to be any structure in the black community anymore.
Yeah.
They knew that in the community. I say community. So they knew once they took that man out of there, the structure was gone. Because once you take a man from a family, that family falls.
Yeah. Well, now
because for the most part, women are easygoing.
Yeah.
And I'm not being chauvinistic when I say this, but women are more likely to be like, okay, they go along to get along. The men are the ones that get up and say, no, I don't like that.
Right.
The men get up and they fight, but the women are like, no, let's let it work. And that's exactly what the Democrat Party wants.
I'm waiting for the shoe to come flying behind you through the green screen.
She's in there. I know she's
Just kidding.
But she agrees with a lot of, she was Democrat like me.
Yeah.
I was a lifelong Democrat. And like I said, we're on YouTube, but what woke me up was 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah. Even that, sometimes I don't like to delve into big conspiracy theories, but sometimes I look at be
careful.
I know. Sometimes I look at that stuff and I think, well, I don't know. That's interesting. Like I never will necessarily shut something down. I will entertain things for a while, and because I like to know, like for example, the whole, I don't even know if I can necessarily talk about this on here, but with the Sound of Freedom movie, and Jim Caviezel, like his politics, I know he has some QAnon stuff he talks about. And they've talked about like adrenochrome and all that. And oh
my gosh, Shag, you said that on YouTube? Oh my, I'm rubbing off on you.
Well, I know. I'm not going to go whether I believe it or not, but what I found was interesting is like there's patents for these things. Like there is patents
Absolutely.
for that. And I'm like, okay, so now it's okay. Like I should be able to ask the question, if everyone thinks this is bullshit, why is there
back.
a patent for it? You know, like let's go back and look.
And on the street, it's called ambrosia.
Really?
Look it up.
I will. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to look it up.
It's saying YouTube. Allegedly. Oh, hold on, Shag. Let me get it right. YouTube allegedly is called ambrosia.
Right.
Allegedly.
Yeah, it's just There's too many things. I mean, there's certain things I won't entertain. Like I'm not going to entertain flat Earth and stuff like that. But,
I got in trouble for that one too.
But it's just something that I should be able to ask questions. You and I should be able to sit here, and I should be able to ask, what do you think about 911? What do you think about ambrosia? What do you think about this? Could it possibly be real? We're not saying definitively one way or the other something happened. And same thing with all the election stuff. We should be able to say, well, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, but
don't talk about the election, please. I don't want you to get in trouble. Yeah. So, all right. So, your channel's good. You're growing. I like you. You're a very good guy. I don't want to. Yeah. But let's get back to this. Check this out.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that you said this about the A word. We call it ambrosia, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know about this, the Charlie Indigo Alpha, because you got to say code words. The Charlie Indigo Alpha.
Okay.
Now this is declassified.
Yep.
There was a case that happened in the 1980s called the Finders. You heard about that? The Finders case.
No.
Yeah, write it down. So we can't really talk about it much on YouTube, but I'll just give you the gist of it. It's loosely based on the same concept as Sound of Freedom.
Okay.
Where this group was going and they were finding young people.
Okay.
To do, and I'll let your mind, because we're on YouTube. All right. Yeah. So, and there was in the classified documents, allegedly, one of the whistleblowers talked about a man named Hunter S. Thompson. Now, do you know Hunter S. Thompson?
I do.
I'm still a fan of Hunter S. Thompson because I'm a filmmaker at heart. So I love the way he uses his camera. I love the gonzo technique. Yep. I love how he was just always in your face about stuff. Right? And I'm a big fan of his. When I woke up, I started being like, wait a minute, this guy is kind of a sleazeball, right? But Hunter S. Thompson, if you go back and do the research and dig a little bit, he talks about ambrosia, and he also talks about snuff films.
Oh.
Which are used to blackmail politicians.
Right. See, I think I may have known that about him. He's just a wild dude. But he let it slip that he let it slip. He weaved it in that Charlie Indigo Alpha may have had something to do with the adrenochrome. And then if you watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Johnny Depp actually says adrenochrome, that his lawyer paid him in adrenochrome. Yeah, it's funny because people were asking. Someone had mentioned in my stream last night because we talked about it. I think on Rumble, like about the ambrosia, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they mentioned it back in I think he said the 80s or." I was like, "Yeah, but I think the patent's been around since like the 40s or the 50s."
Yeah, well, Aleister Crowley. That's where it started with Aleister Crowley.
Okay.
Well, no, it started before with, I don't know how you are on your biblical stuff. It started with the Canaanites.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't know my Bible at all. Like, I just know the stuff that I talk to people about, and that's about it.
Yeah, well, allegedly in the Bible, God said, eliminate the Canaanites from the Old Testament. But I'm just saying, and that's the reason why God said that, because the Canaanites were into black magic, the Aleister Crowley rituals.
Yeah, see, like that, and I don't know. I'm weird in a lot of. I'm not weird, but like my mind is very. It's very logic based a lot of times. I have a fairly good imagination, but when it comes to the things I'm interested in, I like to try and be as practical as I can and I
Right.
want to see some evidence of it, you know?
Exactly.
So it's like, so that's why, and to some degree, religion and the Bible doesn't always add up to me. I understand it, and
Yeah,
I
you're not
understand
into the
why.
esoteric, right?
Right. And I understand it, and I get why people are comforted by it and why they do live their
Right.
life by it. But you know, not. It's just not for me. It's
Right,
weird.
right. No. Hey, and listen, I don't feel any kind of way about you. I still like you, brother Shags. I love your shit. You do some good work.
Thank you.
So to each his own. This is how us Hoteps are. To each his own.
Right.
But to close out the Aleister Crowley thing, I know you said you like proof. If you dig into the Aleister Crowley thing, I forgot where they were. They in Italy? I forgot where they were. They were somewhere in Europe, but they were doing one of his rituals. Because somebody says prove that Aleister Crowley drank blood, but one of his followers is documented. One of his followers died because they sacrificed the cat, and he
Ooh,
drank the cat's blood.
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I thought you froze for a second. I was like,
No,
oh man.
I was writing
Yeah.
down I was writing down a couple of things that I don't want to forget, and I want to make sure I, touch
Look
on
it
it
up.
later.
He died because he got poisoned by the cat's blood.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, not. I don't
Yeah.
really know much about that stuff, but all this stuff interests me. And again, just to be able to, I wish we could ask why a little bit more in certain places, but got to be careful with what you say because you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Well, if you want to ask me why, I can tell you why. Because allegedly, the blood of someone or something that's under duress produces a lot of adrenaline.
yeah,
And what happens is, if you ingest that said blood at the highest peak of extreme uh, duress and fear, that it will cause you to feel those effects. But instead of you being scared, you will feel a euphoric feeling inside your body from it.
oh yeah, that's
Almost
wild.
reminiscent to dropping acid.
Oh,
As a matter
okay.
of fact, DMT is the synthetic derivative of ambrosia, aka adrenochrome.
Wow, I got a lot of research to do.
Yeah.
It's just very, very interesting, and it's funny. So I would over this past week, I had posted some stuff, a couple of articles on Facebook, or I screenshot some article headlines from Rolling Stone where they were disparaging Sound of Freedom but supporting that movie Cuties on Netflix, from a few years ago. And again, it's like you want to, like, you need to believe people when they tell you that they want to exploit children. Like basically
Absolutely.
like they're and obviously and what they did and what the people did responding to the headlines I posted were they weren't attacking the subject matter of the movie. They were attacking Jim Caviezel's personal politics and religion, which, okay, that's fair because I've done the same thing with certain people, but it doesn't take away from the importance of the movie and what it has to say. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Me and my wife could just talk about it. Why did the kids get removed from milk cartons?
Yeah, that's weird.
But go ahead, finish. I cut you off. Finish making your point.
Oh no, I just wonder, like, I wonder what people are really like up to when they're they're not saying they want kids obviously kidnapped. I don't think anyone wants that.
No.
But why are we trying to say that this movie is bad? Like, it's for QAnon people? Like, I don't know. It seems like he's drawing attention to something that's been really overlooked, and now the Biden administration has said it's not a national matter to really worry about. And it's like, two days ago.
You Hotep, bro. You Hotep. You need to get a soundboard, man, where you can drop the Don DeMarco. You Hotep, bro. That's a Hotep take, because that you did your research. I told my brothers about this, and it just totally went over their head. I was like, bro, your president just said, child trafficking doesn't exist. And did you see in California just today, they made the law come up to where it's like, it's like it's supposed to be a felony to child traffic. In California, it says no. It's like a slap on the wrist. and no, all the Democrats voted against it. This is why democracy is bad. And I got this from Hotep Jesus. It makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Because go ahead. What was you gonna say?
Oh no, I just typed in real quick. California Democrats revise a stalled bill on child trafficking after public pressure.
They killed it dead, bro. Not one Democrat vote for it. This is democracy. This is what they talk about democracy. So everybody gets together and they say, hey, yeah, we can still, oh, I forgot. Sorry, we're on YouTube. Yeah, we can allegedly kidnap kids and it's not a felony. Like, what the fuck, bro? Yeah. What are we doing?
One of the chat messages we got from Trace also said, need to look up MK Ultra. Yeah, I know actually a fair amount about MK Ultra, and I've actually one of the books, I think I'm like three-quarters of the way through it. It was about Charles Manson, and how he was he was involved with MK Ultra, but it was likely he was
Charlie Indigo Alpha Plant.
Well, he was an asset that they were using, and that's why he never was taken into custody. Like, they knew what he was doing for so long, and the book speculates a lot.
His father,
right? And there's no way to really know, but it's a really good. The whole MK Ultra thing is one of those things. Here, real quick, let me make a point.
Sorry.
Like, MK Ultra is one of those things where, like, you can read all the documents on this. This is all declassified, and you can see what the government was doing to people. And I mean, even was it Lee Harvey Oswald or Jack Ruby that was involved with it too?
Jack Ruby. I think they all were connected.
It's wild, man. And then people still say, "Oh, what are you talking about MK Ultra?" It's like, just go read. You can read this stuff yourself. You don't need me to tell you about it.
Go to the library and read it. That's how I learned most of the shit, bro. I read it a lot. But like you were saying, did you know, fun fact, that Charlie Manson wrote a song, or he wanted allegedly, and it's been so long, he actually wrote a song for the Beach Boys, or wanted to write a song for the Beach Boys, and was trying to get with the Beach Boys. Do you know that?
Yeah, there was. So this book that I'm reading about Charles Manson, there was a part about it, and I think this is where I kind of stopped. That there was involvement between him and the Beach Boys at one point, and I don't remember exactly what it was, because I don't think I quite got into it, but.
And they were like, "This guy's a loser. Get him out of here. This and that." Yeah. And then Charlie Indigo Alpha says, "Oh, you don't want Charlie Manson? Okay, we got a plan for Charlie Manson."
Yeah.
And then they did that Winter Soldier shit. They said their 5 phrases, and then he went from, Surfer USA. He went from that to, I want to go stab Sharon Tate in the stomach.
Oh man, they actually described that whole thing in like gruesome detail in the book, because I never knew like what it was all about, and like the Manson murders, and once they, because he never did anything technically, he just like ran this commune of people, and and that was, but like hearing all the details behind it, the Sharon Tate like murders and everything was just, and that, it was really hard for me to listen to, because I was listening to it on audiobook.
And I'm gonna tie this in really nice. You know what made all this shit work, Brother Shag? They were dropping acid.
Yeah,
AKA that was DMT.
Yep. Yeah, it's wild. And now it's funny too, because everyone talks about like microdosing this stuff, and like how it's, it's really good for your mind, and like it just kind of puts you in this like really lucid state. And I'm like now that you drive down the highway, there's like signs for like ketamine clinics. I'm like, what is going on? I don't know, man. I'm all for the science, but like, ketamine clinic, really?
I dropped acid before.
Oh, I've never done anything like psychedelics. So
I dropped acid, man. Man. It was funny too, man, because this girl, I don't know if you know about me, I'm wide open, bro. I'm wild. And did anybody ever tell you, before I start the story, did anybody ever tell you look like Jason Momoa?
Yeah. Yep. That's happens.
I better not let my old lady see you. She gonna be trying to be like, "Ooh, who is this Shags guy?"
Well, Well, when my hair was longer, I'm sure you saw when my hair was longer a couple.
Yeah, on the picture, yeah.
Yeah. So my hair was longer. It was so much a thing that people would be like, "Oh, you look like Jason Momoa."
You do.
It's really the beard, I think, that really brings out, and just
Yeah.
the dark features. But
bro, I wish I could grow a beard like that. Oh my god, my shit! I got a broke ass beard. But yeah, I got a poverty beard. Yeah, but well, what was we talking about?
your
I
facial hair's
forgot.
on Section 8, cuz what the fuck?
What happened?
I said your facial hair's on Section 8. What's going on?
Yeah, word. Section 8. Damn, I thought I lost my thought. What were we talking about?
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. Okay, so look,
DMT and stuff like that.
Yeah, this girl I was dating at the time, I ain't gonna say her name, but she was a white chick, and she was good friends with this girl from California, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she was telling me, she was like, "Yo, baby, we're gonna trip this weekend." Da 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 da. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait." She was like, "Oh, she got now this is a true story, bro. I ain't lying." She says, "Oh, we got some of the shit that Charles Manson then was dropping." I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, now look, now I'm 45 years old. Now if somebody says shit like that to me, I'm running, I'm getting the hell up out of it. I'm like, no, I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
But in my 20s, I was like, "Oh yeah, bring it on."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "For real? This is just from 1965?" She's like, "Yeah." I swear to God, Shags, when she brought it to the crib, bro, it was like stamps.
Yeah.
And it had like Mickey Mouse on it, right?
Uh-huh.
And like the face Mickey Mouse. And like you could tell the paper was old, right? She was like, "Be careful, because if you touch it, the liquids from your fingers might make it disintegrate. You gotta be really careful. It's really old."
Yeah.
And it looked like stamps. So I took one. I was really, I put it on my tongue, and I started drinking beers, fucking around. I was like, "Oh, this shit don't work." And she was like, "You want to take another one?" I'm like, "Yeah." Shit, let me get 2 more. Bro, what did I do? Oh my God. Oh my, yo, I didn't, bro. I had to have people call me out of work, bro. I could not use a phone.
That's
like
awesome.
It started that Friday. I didn't go to work like that whole week. I could not function.
Wow.
And it was just like no offense, honey. It was just like a whole week of sex, bro. Like sex, no food, just sex, drugs, sex, like for a whole week. No offense, baby. I'm sorry. The whole, it was crazy.
Yeah, I don't, and it makes you wonder too. Like those are the things that I think when you're even something as mild as like weed. Like really the hardest thing I've done is probably weed. I haven't.
Right.
There's a whole. I've always wanted to try other things, but because of my some medical stuff I have, I don't, because I don't want to really fuck up my brain. But even on that stuff, like you hit a certain point where like you're not sure. Like what, even when you drink, you get to a point where you're not even sure what's real. Like, what are you experiencing? That, and especially when you're talking about psychedelics, because it's mind altering. Like things that you're actually looking at are changing, or there are things that are there that are, that it's. So what are people doing to you, or what have people done to you under these circumstances? I'm not saying you, but I'm saying people who take them a lot, like. Or under the supervision of some 3-letter agency, what is being put into their brain, right? So,
bro, let me tell you, if I'd have been in somebody's laboratory, they would have had me like Charlie Manson, bro. I would have had a whole cult and shit. I ain't gonna hold you, because like she was touching my hair. Like my hair is really long now, but back then I had like the little waves, a short haircut. Yeah. When she rubbed my hair, bro, it was like I was like, oh. It was like everything felt good. It's like you drink water and you could just feel it go through you could feel it go through all your organs. Shags, it was wild, bro. It was you're when you're performing, that you're doing a deed, it felt like you were melting in like some of the softest, like warm lava you ever and it was like massaging. Bro, this is what I'm saying. This thing is. I was in another dimension, bro. I know you don't believe in that type of shit, but
no,
I was in another dimension.
I don't know, man. I don't know enough. That's why that's why I talk to people, and that's why
Right.
what my mission, if I could have it tomorrow, or if my
Right.
goal, if I could have it tomorrow, would be to sit down with someone every single day and talk to them, because I want to know.
I love it.
I want to know,
I love it, man. I love that about you.
Is there a way to get to an altered state of consciousness? Is there a way that, to meet your creator? Is there a way to get to a place beyond ourselves? I want to know it all.
It is. I know you don't believe in this, but I personally believe in God, right? I believe God puts a veil over us in our minds. I think that the people, the powers that be, they know how to break the mind. This is how they created Charles Manson. This is how they created Jack Ruby. This is how they created Lee Harvey Oswald, so forth and so on. Yeah. I think when you take this DMT stuff, everything was broken. Everything that the creator had in front of me, Brother Shags, was gone. The music, I could hear every instrument in the music. The music was thumping. I could feel it in my heart. And when I saw the numbers, I could see the frequency of the numbers on the clock.
Yeah.
And I could hear the buzzing. I could hear everything. I could bro, it was crazy. I could hear the water in the toilet, and I could just hear the ripple. Listen, man.
Well, I tell this story sometimes when I talk about my experiences. And one time I was hanging out with one of my friends from work. We were smoking weed, and my tolerance is low, so I smoked a little bit more than I should have. And this was 20 years ago now, probably 15 years ago. But I remember sitting down, we were talking, and we were laughing, and nothing, everything kind of felt normal. And then I remember I itched my face, and the scratch on my face, it's like I felt it go into my skin, and it felt like everything was I just felt it. I can't even describe to you, but it felt cool. But it was I was feeling things in a way that I didn't think was possible. It wasn't pain. It wasn't pleasure. It was just I just felt it. I just felt.
You felt it.
And I don't know. And that's the kind of stuff that's insane to explore to me. What?
Because part of the veil was being removed.
Right. You're right. Is that what's going on? Are these drugs a gateway to seeing something beyond what we're supposed to see? That we were, that it was deemed unnecessary for us to observe, and not. But that also, to me, it almost presents a counter argument for God in a way that's why would he shield me from this? Is it so bad that I can experience pleasure in this way, or just feeling in general? Why am I not allowed to be here all the time? Or is it even healthy? See, this is how my brain works. And before I know
that's a very good question. That's a very good question. I just know that, I don't know, if God let us have our inhibitions open like that, we wouldn't be productive, I don't think. Because if I would have never came out that trip, I would still be there having sex with that girl. I wouldn't have my kids. I wouldn't have my lovely wife. I would still be making this chick, not taking them baths, and not it was a whole week of it was crazy, bro. It's maybe that's why God does it, so we could be productive.
Well, and then someone in the chat says, and this is, I'm going to sort of extrapolate from what they said. I remember making a sandwich while high on weed, and it was there was no world outside of that sandwich. And I wonder, if I take that a step farther, is maybe that's the point of drugs, is that you're pulling the veil back just enough where you realize there's enjoy the small things. You don't need to have anything outside of this sandwich. Enjoy the moment where you're providing food for yourself, and nowadays maybe that's really important because we don't go out and hunt our own food, or very few people. No. Whereas your connection with your food was much different, back in the day when we
were hunters and gatherers. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Or when your money, even if you had to go to the market to get that food, the money you spent on it was a real trade of your work for, the goods and services. The real value on money was there. Whereas now it's just, this is a piece of paper that someone assigned an arbitrary value to, and hopefully they give me what it's worth.
Right. It's monopoly money.
Right.
But you're onto something. We do need to get back to bartering, I feel like. Because that's where we're headed.
Yeah, there is an interesting case to be made. And I think what people really need to do is understand the connection of your money and the work the service that you provide in order to earn that money, right? So like people just think they're owed money when that's not the case, right? Like you need to provide a service in order to exchange it for, your service and your hard work is in exchange for that money that you have. And then other people need to value that as well, right? Because again, $1 billion on a desert island means absolutely nothing.
Jack squat.
Right? So
that shit.
And it doesn't. So if you can't get off that island, $1 billion isn't going to do anything. You're going to grab, the bottle of water or the sticks and matches because that's going to keep you warm or that's going to keep you alive for more days.
That's going to feed you and everything else. Yeah.
So it's all relative to where you are, but people nowadays I hate saying that. People nowadays,
but you're right.
No one holds value to what they like. You're just told to exist and you'll get money. Or objectify yourself, turn yourself into an object and sell that to people and they should pay you. It's like, well, but we're not learning any valuable skills. I've worked in the trades now for a few years and it's like, that's where you see people really understand the value of a hard day's work. Like I bust my ass, I'm working 100-degree heat. I'm providing someone with air conditioning. I'm providing someone with shelter. Now I get money in exchange for that because someone else has a home. That's the value I provide for life. We live in a really strange time, man.
We do. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I just turned 38.
Yeah, you look young. Bro. You look young, man.
Well,
I know something about you. You get a lot of heavy hitters to come talk to you. So I'm honored. Sorry, my son's crying in the background.
That's good, man. That's my life.
I'm very honored to be on the Shag show, the Ready Set Shag, because you have a lot of heavy hitters on your show.
I appreciate it. I don't know what it is. I think I think it's been years of work that I've had to put into network, and a lot of this stuff just kind of goes like unheard. But I don't think that's. I mean, even if no one ever heard it, or even if one person heard it, that's enough for me. Like I think I'm doing something that matters.
Well, you got an audience. You got people in the chat. I can't see the chat. I don't even want to mess with it because with my troubles I had. But at least you have an audience and you have people that support you. That's a start. You got Chrissy Mayer too.
Oh yeah, she was a lot of fun.
Bro, you got Chrissy Mayer and Hotep Jesus.
Yeah, it was good. Those
are celebrities, bro.
Yeah, it's lucky, man. It's I've certainly been blessed with some really lucky chances, and I don't know. I don't know any other way to do it, and it's not all because of me. Like I owe a lot to my co-hosts for the Midweek Hump. Like they've done a lot of work too. And
what's that guy's name with? Yeah, what's the guy's name with the gorilla face?
Oh, that's No Green Rocks.
Oh yeah.
So you owe to
you owe to more, No Green Rocks, or who's the most popular outside of you?
Well, we're all kind of in the same plane. So myself, Horror Amarada, and Sheep Sidian were the first. Like it was like we were doing the show first, and then No Green Rocks and Mr. Grant Gregory sort of joined a little bit later, a little bit down the line. But we're all kind of in the same sort of like wavelength right now. I wouldn't say anyone's really necessarily more popular than the other. We're all doing like so there's the main group of the fellowship that we kind of follow. We have like Nerdrotics, you have Eric July, all the Friday Night Tights people, if you watch that show at all.
You with Friday Night Tights?
No, I'm not. We're like,
but you're kind of like,
we're like adjacent to that community of people.
Yeah.
And really, like everything that I was starting to do was spawning from we want our own Friday Night Tights. We want a place where people can come and hang out with us, and we can hang out with each other and talk about things that we like, we don't like, things we support, people that we support. So that's where it all kind of spawned out of. And like I said, Horror Amarada and Sheep City, and they're tied into communities too. I'm tied into some communities. And we all sort of helped each other like up, and my channel just happened to be the place that we did stuff.
Yeah.
And
let's all work together, man.
Right. And even those talking with those people, and because I consider Amarada and Sheep City and all the guys, like everyone in our show, I consider them friends now. You know, we just sort of kind of like mix amongst each other, and we like pass guests around essentially. Like it's,
Yeah,
you know, it's really, really, really cool.
I'm a horror fan. A lot of other Hoteps, I don't know if they like horror. I'm the neighborhood movie horror guy in
Yeah.
Hotep. Yeah,
Nice.
Cannon, he likes movies, but he don't like horror. Like I love horror movies, bro.
Nice.
I'm a horror fan.
I haven't really enjoyed a good horror flick in, I don't know, it's been a while. I like horror movies, but I don't like actively seek them out to watch. And it's not that I'm afraid of them. It's just I
Yeah,
feel like I've been duped for a lot of
the
years.
cheesy. Yeah,
Yeah.
The Conjuring. I know everybody's gonna laugh at me in the chat. I'm ready for it. The Conjuring scared the holy hell out of me the first time I saw it. The first one.
Yeah, no, that one was
I
scary.
was turning lights on and shit, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I was turning lights on and shit. I'm gonna tell you another one that scared me.
Yeah.
Don't Knock Twice.
I actually,
Bro, you can ask my old lady. I was screaming like a little bitch on the couch, yo. This shit was scary, bro. I was like, ah! My big ass was screaming like a... Yo, bro. Look it up. Don't Knock Twice. That shit's scary as hell, bro.
The last horror movie I was like really creeped out by was The Strangers. Which
everybody says that. Why everybody get mad? And I'm not trying to poo-poo your shit, but why does everybody get scared of The Strangers, bro? I guess because the home invasion is kind of like creepy and shit.
Yeah, the home invasion thing, and then not talking and just like staring at people through the windows. That shit's scary.
It's like a whole Charles Manson knockoff. You know that, right? That's the writer. The writer took all of the true crime stories, kind of like American Horror Story.
Oh, okay.
They take all, like, they do revisionist history and they write the stuff. So the person that wrote The Strangers took all true crime stories and put them together and made The Strangers.
Interesting. I guess I could see it now. But yeah, dude, like, I mean, just think of this is why it's so scary, because we're the audience watching this happen. So we get creeped out by seeing the person standing in the background and the other person doesn't see it.
Oh,
but then remember that that's not how real life works. Like, you could be in your house and someone could be walking through your house, not even know it, and they're just fucking with you. Or someone could be staring at you through your window and you would never know. Like,
that's
people,
right.
You know, that's what's so scary to me. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God. It was just like, it was like paralyzing chills, right?
The
like,
voyeurism. It was like, you're like, holy shit, it's somebody there. They can't see it. Oh, yeah. I get it. I get what you're saying. It's like the voyeurism aspect of it.
And that, you know, and that being out of control in that way, like, it's one thing to know you're in danger and to be able to try and fight it off if you can.
Right.
That's one of those things where you don't know that you're in danger, but you see like weird things happening. Like, oh, I have a flat tire. Like, well, I have a flat tire. But you, as the audience watching that movie, we know something's fucked up. They don't, and that is what is so.
That's
scary.
What fucks with you, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, the establishment, real quick, to tie everything up with The Sound of Freedom. The establishment, they've been doing this for a long time, you know? When stuff happens, my son's going crazy. When stuff happens in real life, they make a movie about it. But the reason why they make a movie about it is because they want to lessen the blow of reality. Yeah, so in other words, if you, right? It's a very common tactic. We were talking about snuff films and Hunter S. Thompson, and we're talking about movies. I thought of a movie that ties in The Sound of Freedom. 8mm with Nicolas Cage. You remember that movie?
I haven't seen that. I've seen it, but I couldn't tell you or remember exactly.
The plot was about a wealthy businessman came across his daughter was missing, and he came across this videotape. All right, it was like an 8mm tape, and his daughter had been missing for like 5 years or something, and he thinks he sees his daughter on the tape in like a snuff film. She's like 12 or 13 or something. Yeah. So he hires Nicolas Cage, who is the private investigator, to go investigate to see who that character was in that tape.
Wow.
You see how this shit goes, bro?
Right. Well, man. It's like a desensitization tactic where And you see this all the time too on like social media. It's one of the reasons I hate that you can post some of these like violent videos on there, because it's to desensitize you, so it doesn't, like, oh, we've seen, it's one thing to watch it in a movie, but when you see someone get like shot in the face, like that video was going around it was like that
it's St. Louis
woman in South America. They've like caught up with some dictator's wife who they thought was dead, found her, and then like the video, you like literally see her just get like pow pow, like right in the face, and it's like, but the more you see that, the more you expose people to it, and at a younger age, it, again, and in some ways, we're creating these monsters ourselves by allowing kids to be like, to not value life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, because that's, I don't know, man. Like you see it enough times, it's not real anymore.
It's not real. Like you don't smell the plasma. You don't smell if the person had a bowel movement. You don't, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not there. You don't get that sticky, warm gooiness on you. You're like, what the hell? Oh my God, this is disgusting, because you saw it on a video and you're like, oh, this is not real. Right. So therefore it's like a movie to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We living on
it. And it's just not. And that's why I say, like, people need to, I mean, as much as my work now and content is based online, like what?
My cat wanted to say hello.
Oh, hi, kitty. It's weird seeing a cat with a nose. I have a little Persian cat, and it's like the squishy.
Oh, it's like a pancake nose. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good. No, it's shit. I kind of lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
Well, we were talking about being desensitized, and I was telling you about we were talking about how like if like it's like a game to kids now. They don't value life.
Yeah, like there's, like I said, and I guess I was saying, like we're sort of creating our own monsters in that way, where no one really understands what it means to hurt someone else, and the repercussions of that. And I don't know. It's just a bizarre place to be, because I don't know. Like I said, I kind of lost my train of thought there. I apologize, but it's
yeah, no, that's fine. I fucked you up, man. I brought the cat in. I'm all over the place.
No, I worry where we're going, as far as, what I was saying was, now I kind of got it. Even though my hobby and my work on YouTube is being online and being plugged into what's happening online, I so often encourage people to get offline and be with your family, be with your community. I mean, consume this content. Like, I want people to watch my content, but I also want them to be able to live their own life. And I think it's so important to not get mixed up in like Twitter every single day, because Twitter is not the real world. It is snippets of the real world shared incessantly, and at 1,000 miles an hour. And if people spent more time in their real life, and I've done this too recently, I've taken a step away from content in some regards, but my family and I were doing a lot of camping this summer. We bought an RV. We're going to go camping for a couple weekends over the next couple of months. And
I saw that live stream in the camper.
Yeah, dude, it's rad, man. It's really cool, but people need to learn how to step away from that and make sure that they are involved. Like, be involved with your local school system, be involved with your local community events, be involved with your neighbors. Like, go say hello to your neighbor once in a while, bring them a beer. Like, all that stuff is really important, because if shit ever went down, you need to know who to count on. You need to know, like, especially in your neighborhood, something ever went down, who could I go to for help? Who is going to be there for me? Who are my people? And I don't think enough people know that. Like, I don't know, when was the last time you knocked on your neighbor's door?
Oh, you ain't lying. I haven't. I see him. I spoke to one the other day, but you're right. You're absolutely right, Shags. I haven't. I haven't talked to my neighbors. I haven't.
So it's one of those things where you'd probably be pleasantly surprised if you spent 20 minutes one day, you say, hey, what's going on? I just realized I don't know who you are. Like, what's going on? Like, and before you know it, you could be good friends, or the opposite could happen, or they could be total dicks, who knows?
Yeah. Right. But that is worth the chance, though. Humanity is worth that chance.
Yeah. But and that's where I think everything I do is in some ways a bit hypocritical, because I think I say to people all the time, well, go out and meet people. You know, we go to meetups. Like if we have a meetup, like go to our meetup so you can meet people in person, talk to people, you know. But I think that meeting people online is important. You know, having these conversations like we're having, it's certainly really important to have, but you need to be able to transfer that skill into the real world, because you and I grew up in a time where we had to do that. There was no, like, the only way to communicate with someone in California was to call them on the phone or write them a letter. You know,
bro, remember how we used to do it? We didn't have cell phones, and you'd be like, like the phone would be over there. You drop it, you put the quarter in. You're like, okay, I'll be at your house by 3:30, and you look at your clock, and you actually had to be there at 3:30.
Yeah,
remember those days?
Oh, dude, you just think of how insane that sounds to say now, because you basically, what you basically said was, we used to be on time to shit. Now we just show up whenever, and if we're going to be late, all we do is send a text message. Oh, hey, really sorry about that. I'll be like 15 minutes late. Like, and I've said this before on other streams, but even how people communicate, the methods in which people communicate are really important, because if you're someone who talks to people face to face all the time, or calling them on a phone, like, your words mean something. You have to say the right things in the moment. It's very hard to correct yourself. But back in the day when all you had was a letter to write, people's words meant something, because as soon as you put that letter in the mail, it was gone. So there was no changing it.
There's no taking it back.
Right. No, there's no
way. The postman ain't gonna bring it back.
Right. And you had to mean every word you said. You had to put everything in that letter, and that you just poured your heart onto that page. Now what? You just send a text message. Oh, you didn't mean it. Oh, sorry, bitch, didn't mean that. You're
sorry, really that was for somebody else.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You know, we don't value our words in the same way anymore, and that's another big problem that we're facing, is like, there's no real value to anything. Everything's so disposable. Maybe that movie Fight Club was right. You know, it's like everything's about single serving, you know, like that's all you need. There's nothing about, we don't have lasting relationships anymore. Everyone just wants, what can I get from you now?
Now, what can I get from you? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely, but you know, that's the bad thing where we are, because when the shit hits the fan, if it hits the fan, a lot of people, you and I can make it. The Hoteps, we can make it, because we all grew up around this. You know, we know how to communicate. We know how to tell time. We know, hell, some of these kids don't even know how to read a compass, man. They don't know. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
well, it's nice. It's always a breath of fresh air to see someone who's younger, who's part of the generation after us, and they get it. You know, for someone who grew up in someone who's born in like 2005, between 2005 and 2010, like, their entire world is digital. You know, their entire world is the internet, and it's a much 100%. Yeah, and so it's when you see someone like that who gets it, who didn't quite get like blue pilled right away, and they didn't take that victim role like the way the Democrats wanted. It was all they did was it was a manifest destiny. You know, like they were gonna take what they wanted, and they were gonna make something of their lives, and that's really great to see from a younger generation, because there's so many victims out there that
you don't see a lot of them doing that.
Yeah, and hey, man, everyone's a victim of something at some point, right? We've all been on the shit end of some situation. I know I've been involved with the police before, where my mom was a cop, but like, I've been involved with the police, and I was done wrong, but I didn't make it my entire worldview.
Yeah,
and I know that I grew up much different than other people, but there's so many things that I had advantages with that other people didn't, and then vice versa. A lot of people had advantages that I didn't have. And
I grew up. Okay, I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. My bad.
No, you go. You're the guest. Go ahead.
Bro, I grew up down south, man, and I've been called a nigger and stuff like that. And I've been called a niglet. I lived in this one town, bro. We'd ride our bikes through the town. My mother used to say, "You come home when that street light comes on," And
yes,
I'd go to that goddamn to that bike trail, and it was a wooden sign on the wall on the tree. and said no niggas after 7.
What? Really?
The sundown town.
Damn,
So
dude.
I've experienced racism, but let me tell you something, brother Shags. I tell you, I've had the most fun with white people, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I am not. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not patronizing you because you're white.
Yeah.
I've had the most fun with white people, bro. I've had the most fun with white women. I've had like white women just basically just roll out the red carpet for me, man.
Yeah.
I've had white men don't know me from Adam. I'd be broke down on the side of the road. They come help me. Bro,
Yeah.
you need a ride, like I like my own, and I'm not saying it's bad about my people. I'm not. But I've had black people drive right by me, man.
Right. Yeah, man.
And a white man to stop and help me, you know?
Right. And that just, to me, like, it just makes the case like there's just shitty humans and there's good humans, right? Like you could have, the roles could have been reversed, right? It could have been, a black dude stopped and helped you and a white dude walked by. It, it's just you like the few people you saw drive by, like, well, that person's an asshole, or maybe they're just busy. And that was the other thing that someone told me recently, or I overheard someone say this. Everyone is living the same infinitely complex life that you are. And we forget that sometimes. Like where
we do.
Like that person that you saw drive by, they could have been late for their mom's funeral, right? And you were,
he didn't mean that body, he was just late, right?
And but we forget that. We think like in that moment, we're on the side of the road, it's 100 degrees outside, and the tire's flat. Oh, that fucking asshole just passed me. You didn't want to help me? Fuck him. It's like, well, you look at the world so differently when once you sort of realize that. I don't know. Maybe I became less petty after I heard that, but it was really a cool thing to hear.
Well, it's very powerful. Bring me another beer, honey. Sorry about that.
You're
but
good.
I it's like today, for instance. No, yesterday, because I rushed home today. I just got off work. I was at a store, and there was a white man. Two white folks. It was an elderly couple and another older white man. And when I was going in, and I saw them behind me. They were elderly, right? So I was like, yo, you know what? Fuck this. I took my big ass out and opened the door for them. And I let all of them go in. And they looked at me, Shags. They were like, oh, thank you. It's like, and I was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have a nice day. Yes, ma'am. Have a nice day. Yeah. And they were like, oh my God. Like, it was like just that part of humanity from them, from a black man in this day and age, right? Because everybody wants to say, why he bad, why he bad, why he bad.
Yep.
For me to open that door for them, bro, it made their day.
Right.
Why has it gotta be like that though, Shags?
I guess I would say, well, what do
why
you mean?
Why don't other people open the door for people?
Oh, why don't other people that's a good question. I think, I don't know, man. Because I think to some degree, people are living a very selfish life. Like I think everyone is doing their own thing, and they just forget. But it takes nothing to hold a door for someone.
Nothing.
Right.
And I was in the hood, bro, the hood. And I was going to the store, black girl, and I didn't do it because she was attractive or nothing like that, right? But she was same instance, black woman. Right. She's walking around. I opened the door. She jumped like I was gonna rob her or some shit, right? She's like, yeah. And I was like, after you, ma'am. She's like, oh my God, thank you. It's like, bro, is chivalry dead?
Yeah.
Like, when did chivalry die, bro? We're all just humans in this rat race of life. Like, why can't we just? We're all on this fucked up journey, man. Why can't we just get along with it?
Well, I think for the most part we are. Like, I'm not black pilled enough to think that we're beyond saving. I think most people are on that page. I think the difficulty is realizing and accepting the fact that there are some really bad people out there, and then there's some decently bad people out there, and we come across them every now and then. And I always draw the corollary with my work in a restaurant. 90% of the people I dealt with in a restaurant were really awesome, understanding, fun-loving people. But the 10% that we would get wrong, they were so mean and so awful that you just think, how could people be like this? When the reality is, like, people are generally really good. When I looked at what I made on a month-to-month basis as far as tips go, like, I was over 20%. I was doing great. You know, I knew what I was doing, and it also showed me people were very giving. You know,
Right.
But we tend to focus on what's really bad. You know, we focus on, and we write about, and we make videos about what's
Absolutely.
awful. We don't. How
And we
was the
blow it
last
up.
time? Yeah, when was the last time anybody made a good video about something they loved? You know, there's very few channels out there on YouTube specifically that, like, all they do is talk about great things. You know,
You're right. You're right.
Sphere, what do? We talk about shit we hate, and we make money doing it. So
you're so right.
It's a really weird place.
You're so right. You called me out, bro, because my wife just said that to me yesterday. She was like, baby, you don't ever talk about the Bible. You don't ever talk about positive stuff. You always talk about the negative. And I'm like, well, they got a freaking dude on TV with a 12-inch pee and a wig on, and you guys, he want you to believe he's a girl.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, what the fuck? But you're so right. We never do a video about something good. And I don't want to hold you long because I know we're almost an hour and a half in, but it was funny you brought up the food thing, right? Because my mother-in-law, man, she kills me, man. I love her to death. She means well. But, bro, when we go out to eat, she's the worst to go out to eat with.
Yeah.
Because I know I used to work in food service, right?
Yeah.
You did too, so you know what I'm getting ready to say.
Yeah.
If the people at the table are dicks, bro, and they, like, don't ever, like, I learned working in food service, don't ever send your food back.
Yeah, don't do that.
If I get a steak and I say well done and it's bloody, my wife said the other day, she says, honey, you like your steak well done? I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm not sending it back. No. And I'll just tell you a story. I ain't gonna hold you. I used to work at this place called Quincy's down south. Mm-hmm. It's not open anymore. They don't make Quincy's anymore.
Yeah.
And they sent the food back to us. This is a true story. And the guy was bitching and complaining, bitching and moaning. The guy I was working with, he was like, watch this. He took the steak out the plate, threw it on the floor, stuck the damn steak in his pants, and rubbed it on whatever. And put it back on the plate.
Oh,
and he said, oh, wait a minute. He wanted it well done. Now, to his credit, I guess he cooked off the nut juice on the grill, I guess, but he threw it back on the grill to make it well done and then put it back on the plate.
Yeah, but then it's got the alfalfa sprouts on there from, you know.
Right. And so my mother-in-law is the worst. She's like, I said I wanted it well done. And
yeah.
I'm like, and when she starts and they look at me and I'm like, no, I'm good. And yo, Shags, my shit can be fucked up. I'd be like, no, I'm good. Like, dude, sir, we can bring it back. No, I'm good.
Well, there's been a handful of times in my like dining out experience where I will send something back. Like, it has to be really like wrong for me to send it back, because I understand everyone's busy back there, and like, and for me, like, I like my steak undercooked. Like, if it's overcooked, I don't give a fuck. I'll eat it, whatever. Like, you would have to
You're
be
not
like,
a bitch about it. Yeah, right.
You have to be rotten for me to be like, I can't eat this. You know, like that's
flies and shit flying off of it.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like, I'll just choke it down because they worked hard. There's a whole restaurant full of people that need service. Like, I'm the last person they need to mess with right now. So, you know, and you know, you don't know what's going on with those people's lives. Like, they could have, you know, they could be having the worst day ever. They could be hungover as shit, which is probably likely the case, or they're just
probably
high.
most so. Yeah.
So like, whatever. It's not the end of the world.
And something else. Somebody said something on Twitter. I don't know if you saw this, because I just started following you because like I said, I just found out about you a few weeks, like last week, bro. And I'm like, where this guy been my whole life? I like this guy. So somebody tweeted and they said black men are notoriously cheap when it comes to tipping, right?
Yeah.
Now, I am a notorious over tipper.
Okay, that's good.
My wife is white. She's Puerto Rican and Italian.
Okay.
Now let me tell you something, bro. Yeah, I got a thing for Mediterranean Italian women. I love that's my thing, bro. I love it. Anyway, I'm getting on the tangent. But bro, and this was a dude. And it wasn't no big titty, you know, and it wasn't like I was like, oh, hey baby, here, take extra. No, the guy was good. Whenever I needed extra refills, he was there. He got my order down packed. Everything was 100, right? Mm-hmm. So the gratuity was like $20. I gave him motherfucking $40, man.
Damn.
My old lady was like, what the hell are you doing? And she's white.
Yeah.
So just telling y'all Twitter people, that's a damn lie. Black people tip. I'm an over tipper. My old lady was like, baby, don't give, that's too much money.
Yeah, no, trust me, man. I know some of my in-laws, I mean, they're horrible tippers. They're white. You know, they don't know. And I think a lot of it comes down to, I think, if you spend any amount of time in the restaurant business and understand how these people make their money, then you know. But if you don't work in a restaurant and that's not how you that's not your primary source of income, you don't know that. You don't get we don't get paid the way that everyone else gets paid. Nope. And a lot of times we got to split these tips with a bunch of other people. So you know, you slide
that didn't do half the work you did, right?
Yeah. And you slide someone an extra $20 cash, they're going to put that in their pocket and they might not share, you know, and that's good. Like I've said 100 times, people, this is for you. I'll put the split stuff on the check. You keep that. And then because I know that a lot of times they're tipping out busters or a food runner or something like that. So I'll put a 20% tip on the card, and then I'll throw the guy another $10 so he keeps that. Plus he gets his normal share.
I might start doing that too.
Life hack, y'all.
Yeah, that'll keep my old lady off my ass too.
Yeah, right. There you go.
I don't think she heard that.
She just sees the number you write down and then you do the. Oh.
She heard it, damn it.
But this has been a good chat, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
I loved it, man. I could talk to you all night, man. Hey, what you doing Friday? I heard you doing another Ready Set Shag.
Yeah, actually, one of the guys who's in chat is going to be Trey 50 Daniel. He's going to be on tomorrow to talk with me about his stuff, because he and I we've known each other for a bit now, and he's a hardliner with a lot of stuff. So he's the black pill one, right? The Armada said. Yeah. So he was one that I really wanted to talk to about some things that we disagree on, and so like I said, I just like talking to people and understanding where they're coming from. And someone Absolutely. Like him who is more conservative than I am, get to know him and what his goals are, you know, because he's been trying to build his own channel. I would recommend you follow him. He is on YouTube and on Twitter, and his name is Trey.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Can you send it to me in DM? I'll follow him.
Yeah, for
sure. I want to check him out. Yeah.
But yeah, so tell everyone again where they can find you and follow you, and then what we will do is we'll end the YouTube Rumble stream, and then you and I will just record for a couple minutes if that's okay with you. And I like to put the extra interviews on locals for my.
I'm cool. Yeah, I'm cool, baby. Whatever you want to do. But yeah, you can check me out on Rumble, folks. I can't say what I want to say about YouTube because we're still on their platform. But thank you, YouTube. Brother Shags gave me a voice, but I kept it PG-13. But yeah, I do a show. My show is called Papa Be Knowing. It's not saying that I know more than everybody. It's just that always in my lifetime, I would say something to somebody and they would say, yo, this guy be knowing some shit. And so I played on the father knows best, the papa knows best. And I said, because all my kids call me Papa. So I said, hey, Papa Be Knowing. So whenever you want to check out Papa Be Knowing, go on Rumble. I'm on Twitter, Papa_Hotep.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks, man. Chat, thank you guys so much for hanging out. And for everyone who's been listening on Spotify and the other platforms, I appreciate your support. Hopefully you're subscribed on YouTube, on Spotify, and all those platforms. We really appreciate you, especially over on Rumble. But we're going to head out for now. We're going to roll some credits, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. We're talking with the Trey 50 Daniel. See you guys. Take care.
Peace.